back and check that. But let's move on to our second series coming up here in Iokin.
Yeah, our second series is going to be GosuDark versus Arew. Two great players. Arew, one of the best Europeans currently, and also one of the best from the past. But I'm going to say he's going up versus kind of a newcomer in GosuDark. I know GosuDark has played for a long time, but in terms of playing tournaments, I'm not sure if he plays that many tournaments. He wasn't in the last BSL, I don't think. So he is a new face, but it is going to be PvP. And I do think that both players have a good shot of getting out. In my experience versus Arew, watching him in the last BSL, he was kind of more conservative player. And in my experience versus GosuDark on the ladder, he's a pretty aggressive player. So a bit of contrasting styles.
Yeah, Arew is, like you said, super old school. I haven't gotten a chance to see him play a whole lot lately, but he was actually one of the first players that I remember seeing, kind of back with the old boys club in the old WCG days in like 2008, 9, 10, towards the end of the run of that tournament. I think he's from Eastern Europe, if I'm not mistaken. One second, Lithuania. Okay, and I don't know how many. Great StarCraft players are from there, but he is way up at the top of the table there. So it's exciting to see kind of old players coming back here. And actually, GosuDark, because I just looked it up, apparently was competing in like WCG back in 2009 as well. So wow, that's kind of crazy to me to see just how long both of these players have been playing Brood War.
Yeah, really nice to see old faces come back to a great game of StarCraft. So I'm hyped to see this matchup, man.
Yeah, I guess we can just go ahead and get into it. It's not, it's somewhat anticlimactically. We have exactly the same maps for this series as we did for last series. And we're going to be starting off on Circuit Breaker for game number 1. Eventually, I promise, guys, we will get more maps in the map pool. It's not just these 3 to choose from, but it looks like as kind of the 3 most standard maps, that's what players are kind of favoring, at least to start things off.
Yeah, no shocker to me that these were picked. We've got Heartbeat, Caesarius, Blockchain. I can't remember the last one, but they're all pretty abnormal maps, so not surprising that these players are just going to play what's most comfortable to them. Also, Circuit Breakers, Eddie, were all ladder maps, so they definitely have the most experience on those, so yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So no surprise there. So we're already pretty well read on our maps, maybe not so experienced with our players. So I just want to get a chance to see these guys play against each other. I'm not sure if they have in the past, but even if they have, it would have been kind of a long time ago. So let's actually get into the first game of our second series of Group A of BSL Season 6, Arew versus GosuDark on Circuit Breaker.
Yep, so in the bottom left, we've got one of the great South American Protoss players. It is GosuDark.
That's right, and in the upper left, in the yellow, we've got another great Protoss player from Eastern Europe. This is Arew, representing Lithuania, and of course, I guess on IRK. I didn't know that, but there he is. And so it's going to be a PvP on Circuit Breaker. So we could be here for a while, or we could be here for exactly as long as it takes to build the Dark Templar. I don't know.
Yeah, PvP, one of those matchups where you have a ton of viable builds. You see 2-gate a lot, you see 1-gate into robotics, you see 3-gate goon, you see DT builds. There's all types of variations. Even in the foreign ladder, I see often fast nexus with a forge. That's pretty, I don't see that in the pro play, but I do see that pretty often from foreign play. So a whole bunch of viable builds. And I was
going to say Fast Nexus with a Forge sounds like one of those TT1 builds where you're just trying to like game the system on a map like Plasma. I remember seeing him try that quite a few times to mixed success. I think the most iconic PvP that I remember seeing lately is in last group of the ASL round of 32 between I think it was Tyson and Guemchi, or I Am Mong, where Tyson's like, all right guys, I got this, 3-gate, no obs. straight into DTs and he loses instantly. I'm just like, damn. Sometimes that's just how PvP goes. So it's rare to see quite that crazy of a counter, but most of the time you're going to see a couple of gateways and some kind of robo into obs at some point.
Yeah, so this is pretty shocking to me that we've got 2-gate going down for Arew, because from watching his previous BSL games, he's seen more of the conservative player. I'm not surprised that we're seeing 2-gate from GosuDark. So already, I guess Arew mixing it up a little bit here. Both players going for the same build. What I do like is that we're seeing scouting from both players. That game you talked about with Tyson versus Gemchi, the whole series or the whole round, Tyson didn't scout. I was like, I can't feel bad for you that you lost to DT when you didn't scout the whole game. Like, oh man, that was
You gotta have
unfortunate
that
for him.
economy from that extra probe mining to fuel your 3 gateways and no obs, Nyokin.
Yeah, I guess so. Like, oh my gosh, I felt bad for him. I also didn't feel bad for him at the same time. But
Yeah.
what is the follow-up going to be for both of these players? GosuDark going a little more zealot heavy here. Going to get his gas slightly later, not a huge deal. So I guess the builds are pretty much the same still.
Yeah, if you go late gas, then obviously you're not really thinking about taking straight to DTs or something like that. But anytime you start off with 2 gates, it is kind of unique to see 2-gate versus 2-gate. But with the scout coming out finally from Arew, he is going to be able to see exactly what's going on here. Can he get up the ramp? Ooh, I thought he could have squeezed through there. This is a probe we're talking about, but unfortunately couldn't make it into the base to see exactly what's going on. But with the number of zealots, you can tell it's a 2-gate.
Yeah, he has at least confirmed that it is a 2-gate. He got off a faster scout. He knows exactly what's coming. GosuDark still in the... Oh, don't let it up. Okay, he did turn around. But Arew does have a faster cybernetics. GosuDark built an extra 2 zealots. Still no cybernetics for GosuDark. This could be
Whoa.
kind of what I was talking about, where they go for a forge. But as I say that, he's already got gas, so it's not going to be a forge. But regardless, Arew, I feel like he's ahead at this point. Where is the cybernetics for GosuDark? It still hasn't even started.
Wow, so what we actually saw was kind of technical from GosuDark. He's really powering off these 2 gateways, trying to bust up the ramp. But it's 3 zealots to 4, and the probe that was supposed to kind of tip the tides in the 3v3 battle, it has a slightly ranged attack and can attack over a zealot, but he wasn't able to do that. So now he's got 5 on 3, and there's a probe on both sides, so let's see if he can actually make it up there. I don't know if this is really working for GosuDark.
Yeah, it's not going to work. Arew just has a bigger concave, and you pointed it out. You can see DTs pretty often in this matchup, and Arew's probe is in the base of GosuDark. He sees exactly what's going on. He knows that the cybernetics is slow, there's no robotics, and because of that, GosuDark's in real danger if in the next 2 minutes when this Dark Templar pops out.
Yeah, Cybernetics Core is kind of the litmus test to are you doing well in the matchup. If anything happens, like your core is delayed or your Dragoon range is delayed, then either you're going for something really sneaky and wacky and that gas is going somewhere else, or you are just really crippled. And he's about to be even more crippled when this DT tech hits. Because, yeah, unlike Arew's scouting, GosuDark is in the dark for now and has no idea what's going on.
Yeah, now GosuDark smartly is putting down the robotics because he knows, or because he's in the dark for so long, he can't risk going DTs himself. He also saw that the Dragoons were definitely faster for Arew, so even if they both went Dark Templar, Arew could potentially get a Dark Templar on the ramp, put it on hold position, and then lock out the DT from GosuDark. But there is that Forge that I was talking about. See a lot of Forge expansion builds from the Protoss players. But I'm looking at the robotics. It is getting pretty close to being done. The Templar Archive just finished, and because of that, maybe GosuDark can get an observer out on time. I really hope he does not put down a support bay.
Well, there's 2 Dark Templar on the way. We'll see if that support bay is coming out. There's a probe waiting to build something. And, oh, it's an OBS. All right. Okay, so the game is not over just yet.
Yeah, so this timing from GosuDark, I was getting worried that the robotics is too late, but it's lining up pretty well. The observatory is going to finish right when the Dark Templars pop. Now you factor in the movement time for the Dark Templars to get across the map. This observer timing might just barely be in time for the DTs to not get any damage done. And then if they don't get any damage done, GosuDark's got a bigger standing army. We see Arew is going for those cannons. The cannons aren't going to really help him fight. There, of course, they're just going to be defensive units. And there's GosuDark putting down more gateways.
GosuDark's putting down gateways while Arew is putting down a Nexus, so a big contrast here. And it shouldn't be that surprising because GosuDark has been playing pretty aggressively all game long, but with these DTs coming up, we'll see how much damage they can get done. The Obs is out and will be in position to stop this, but he did get a Dragoon for it, so it's not like they were totally useless.
Yeah,
Oh wow,
the
even
DTs,
saves the second one.
The DTs are going to be pushed back. Oh, don't lose that DT, Arew. Is going to survive. He is going an alternate route. Now, GosuDark has to be a little careful because all of his units are out of position.
Wait, what?
Just gonna let the DT get into his main? What?
No, not like this. He only has one Obs. The second Obs is going to pop out, but there's no units.
There's no units.
Oh my god. Ah!
Been cutting probes a lot too. 3 probes going down. 4 probes. Okay, that's not that much damage, but remember he has a second DT. Look at the observer, it's in the main. Okay, I thought it was gonna sneak by. Meanwhile, GosuDark's got a big attack to the natural, but is there enough cannons? Very strong.
Yeah, I mean, cannons, the static D really helping to protect this Nexus. And there's plenty of gateway units. He's bringing back that Dark Templar, so even though there is an Obs, I feel like the DT might just kind of be the nail in the coffin, gonna come in here and snipe off a field. Okay, never mind. Nothing that I just said came true.
Yeah, DT just getting insta-sniped. But Arew, yeah, all he really has to do is survive here. GosuDark has a lot of units, though. 6 Dragoons versus 2 cannons and 1 Dragoon. Does GosuDark have enough to just push through here? All the cannons going down. Other ones are morphing, but there's just nothing to support them. We have Templars out, but do they even have Storm? Storm's not done. It's about to finish.
Yeah, Storm's a few seconds away. He's gonna Maynard down a bunch of probes. He might have to fight with them for a little bit. Depends on how good these Storms are, because there will be another round of gateway units here pretty soon, but or not. Never mind. I guess the critical mass of Dragoons came across the map, and wow, I guess that's what happens when DTs don't really do a whole lot. That was a crazy back and forth game, Nyokin.
Yeah, DTs are very expensive, and they're not very good versus those very deadly Dragoons. So I was worried that the DTs were going to get in, but GosuDark with a really slick observer timing, and then the counterattack was really nice. There's not Arew just slightly off with those cannons, and then the storm literally 5 seconds. If he had that a little earlier, he would have been able to storm, similar to the Jaeyoon game. If he just had consumed 5 seconds earlier.
Been a day of just like seconds deciding so much about these games, whether it's consume timing or DT timing or observer timing. And actually, what was truly offensive about that game is like, okay, so the guy has GosuDark has observers out just in time. Then he sends his only observer out across the map and let the DT in. That could have been so much worse if he had like tried to build a shuttle or a Reaver or something else after that Obs. But thankfully, you know, justice was served, and the dirty Dark Templar player did get taken out there. So maybe all jokes aside, we'll get a chance to see Arew bring it back and have our first game of 3 of the day. But I don't know, that was kind of interesting to see contrasting Protoss styles in a PvP. So I don't know what to expect here from game 2 coming up.
Yeah, I also don't know what to expect. As we were pointing out, I was really confident that Arew was more of a passive player, but he showed that, at least not in PvP, that's not the case. 2-gate into DT doesn't really get more aggressive than that, but GosuDark can match the aggression a little different. Him going for 3-gate there, but yeah, it was very slim timing for GosuDark. It could have definitely gone in Arew's favor if he got those cannons up.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Those cannons were actually kind of MVPs. They were allowing him to hold on for so long, but unfortunately couldn't hold forever. So our map number 2 is in the way of an eddy, or just eddy, depending on, I guess, what you want to call it. This is kind of, I think, the newest map that we've seen tonight, but it's been in the ladder map pool. You know, it's a pretty standard by this point. So that's going to be game 2, and it's coming up in just a few seconds. So I guess don't go anywhere. Game 2 is on the way.
Yep, so we have in the top right our player leading 1-0. He just needs one more match to go into the winner's match. It's GosuDark.
Yep, and they are spawning cross spawns. His opponent in the bottom left-hand corner in the green is Protoss, is Arew, who came out with a DT play and unfortunately couldn't hang on through the counterattack. So, yeah, this is going to be really, really great. Big thanks to everybody for coming out and watching. As soon as we turned on the stream, there's like 100 viewers. Now there's 250 people watching BSL Season 6. Big thanks to Blizzard for their support and for Zero for running things behind the scenes. Also, an honorable mention to my co-caster Nyoken for being the fastest player to set the game to high latency I have ever seen.
Oh man, I hate lag. You gotta learn those hotkeys, man. Alt O N E. Options.
Yeah, before you got here, Nyoken, I was the fastest one to change it, but now I've truly been usurped by the Usain Bolt fingers of America's favorite Terran player.
Oh, yeah, I despise lag, so I gotta set that ASAP. But let's talk about this game a little bit. Eddie, new map. I like this map. It's standard, so I'm a big fan of standard maps, but I do like the little intricacies of it. We've got a high ground ramp. Gonna be there's a high ground ramp, so it's a little different than normal maps, but I also like that it's a combination of gladiator. These little paths all throughout the map can give you high ground advantage in certain scenarios, and then you can be in a very terrible situation if you're on the low ground. So there is a lot of intricacies to Eddie. It's not just, oh, I'm just going to A move you through the map. It is a lot about positioning.
Yeah, for sure. Especially if you get stuck on one of these, one of the ramps that you have to go through the middle on, and then you have to go to low ground while your opponent's on the next high ground. It's a little bit like a swirly rotational heartbreak ridge a little bit if you are trying to make your way through the middle of the map, and it can be pretty scary, especially if you have to push through things like lurkers or high Templar on high ground that can get storms off, crazy stuff like that. So we are going to see a different start than our last game with just one gate, but I do want to see whether or not we get more high tech after that, or just go straight to obs and kind of try to play it out a little bit more normally. But at least one of the main characteristics is that the cybernetics cores are coming up at very similar timing, so neither player trying to cheat out an extra gateway or get any early advantage like that.
Yeah, this game is definitely looking like a more standard Protoss versus Protoss. The only difference so far is Arew playing a little safer. There is the Zealot, does not want to get it two-gated. Meanwhile, GosuDark being really greedy, just going straight to the Dragoon. But what's his follow-up going to be? There's no range started. There it is. Range has started. But what's Arew doing? I see him floating. A lot of gas. He doesn't have the minerals for range. Okay, he is just playing standard too.
All right. No, I know what you mean, Nyoken. As soon as you see that gas get above 100, you start to like stroke your imaginary, thoughtful, like a philosopher beard, and you start to think, well, where's that gas going? But in this case, it was all for naught, just a slightly slower range timing there. So, but I am actually interested to see what happens here because, after watching the finals of BSL5 or semifinals too, I just got so used to seeing insane, like maybe even one base Reaver play. We were who was it? It was Boneth was just kind of massacring people with crazy good play like that. And so I'd love to see a little bit more of that, but that's by far not what either one of these players are known for. And wow, GosuDark's gonna throw down 2 more gateways.
Yeah, this is pretty much as expected from GosuDark. Really an aggressive player. He's showing it here. He's going for a 3-gate. And this is going to be especially punishing on a map like Eddie, because he's going to have the ramp advantage. Imagine if he gets to the natural, he can just sit there in a concave, and then Arew has got to push up. And then also, he's going to be pushing up a ramp with the Reaver. I think that Reavers often bug when they're trying to attack up a ramp like this. So it's going to be very difficult for Arew to push out, even if he has the Reaver advantage. Meanwhile, GosuDark could potentially go for an expansion behind that, or he could match the aggression or match the tech from Arew. So oh wow, Arew going for a 3-gate follow-up pretty quickly after that.
Okay, so Arew is not going to be down in gateways for too long. And this is, I think, maybe the slightly better version of this build, or slightly more solid, because obviously you are going to have that robo up as well. So maybe you're going to be a little bit slower on just hitting your massive macro cycles, but As long as Arew can hold on here at the natural, I think he's actually going to be okay through this.
Yeah, so I off-raise Protoss pretty often, and
Hmm.
despite the gateway timing being only slightly slower for Arew, look at how many more Dragoons GosuDark has. He has 3 more
Yeah.
Dragoons, and if he was to move across the map right now, look at Arew. Dragoons take about 30 seconds to build. I don't
Oh,
think he would be ready. He would be giving up the high ground, and that's really all GosuDark needs to get is to get the high ground. It's going to be so punishing for Arew to try and get out of his base.
yeah, any map that has like a Colosseum's a great example of that. If you give up any one of those pizza slices, any one of these high ground wedges, it's just so difficult. Because if you get stuck on the low ground in your main, good luck, buddy. You are not going to bust out of there with Dragoons at all. Now, there is an OBS out, but that OBS can't shoot bullets, Nyoken. This is more versus less, and in PvP, that is just so crushing.
And look at Arew. His 2 Dragoons just popped, but GosuDark has the high
Ooh.
ground. He's got
Yeah,
the
it's...
high ground, Anakin. So now he's stuck. And there's
yeah.
no robot, there's no support bay behind this, so it's gonna be, it's gonna take him a while to get a Reaver out. And GosuDark has free reign at this point. What's he gonna do? We see a robotics going down. Potentially, by the time Arew gets his Reaver out, GosuDark may be able to shuttle a Reaver across the map.
Yeah, I would love to see like a Nexus come down after this. That would be like the sexy get further ahead play. But honestly, when you do have an advantage like this that is so tenuous, sometimes, yeah, you just got to go for it. So there is the safety obs coming through from GosuDark behind this to make
Oh,
sure he doesn't die to a DT. But there's a Reaver almost halfway done.
yeah, what's this? GosuDark, he's got a probe moving across the map. We see it in top middle. This may just be scouting pylons, but I would love it if he puts a pylon and a shield battery down
Oh
there.
my
Just heal
God.
up his Dragoons forever.
So I thought that he would maybe like, I don't know, have a forge for cannons, because you can actually cannon and contain on a map with low ground mains, and it just makes it like what are you gonna do there, right? Like you just can't. You're just totally stuck. Here's this probe, so I think there's gonna be a pylon or something down here. Maybe he just wants to block or get something to scout, see if a shuttle leaves. But either way, this is a rough spot for Arew to be in. Let's see what he can get done with this Reaver.
Yeah, this is extremely smart from GosuDark. Even if he just leaves the probe there, oh, well, he's not going to put a pylon there. I thought he was going to put a pylon there. And
Yeah.
really, that would be genius because really the only way for Arew out of his base is probably to elevator. So it's a nice idea from GosuDark. Unfortunately, his probe is a little bit out of position. But there is that nexus for GosuDark. Arew's on a timer now. He's got to get out of his base pretty soon
Yeah.
before this nexus kicks in. Because if it does kick in, it's going to be 2 base GosuDark versus 1 base Arew. And look at the Reaver timing for GosuDark. He's going to have matching Reavers if he's going to play from a defensive posture.
Yeah, he's going to be able to use those in case Arew wants to go offensive. Then I don't know if that's going to work, but he should be able to bust up the ramp with the Reaver eventually. See if he can take out this. Yeah, there's the scouting pylon. So he's going to take that out and make sure that he can use the shuttle a little bit more mobily. But GosuDark is starting to reposition his forces, so maybe that'll give Arew an opportunity to try to bust out here and start a nexus of his own.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, the shuttle is so close. That can't get picked
Whoa!
off. It's dead. Now how does Arew get out of his base?
Well, I mean, the sad answer is that he just doesn't. I mean, hey, he took out a Dragoon. Sick. But he's gonna have to start pushing with this Reaver to try to bust up the ramp. And yeah, he's only got one of them. Second one just now popping, but man, this does not look good, Nyoken.
No, Arew's. This is probably an all-in. I feel like he's just got to build pure gate units the whole time and just hope that he can overrun GosuDark. I don't think if he tries to go for a Nexus, that's going to be a wise choice. GosuDark's just going to flat out have his base for too long. Yeah, I'm surprised we don't see more gates or Citadel or something to just bust up here because the shuttle didn't work. Here come those Reavers finally. He does have the advantage with the Observer here, but look, those Reavers moved up and didn't fire, and now he's lost all his shields.
Yeah, one of those Reavers is just totally useless now. Because if you want to try to get that lucky Reaver shot off, it's just, you're going to lose the Reaver almost guaranteed. Because behind this, there's more and more and more Dragoons being rallied up across the map. GosuDark is not letting up the pressure here. He's really just not letting Arew breathe at all.
Yeah, so Arew, finally another shuttle is going to come out. I hope it has speed. I don't think we saw speed upgraded in this. Nope, it does not have speed. So this shuttle is going to be very vulnerable, and GosuDark already has Dragoons sharking around the left side. Here comes Arew. He's pushing up the ramp. But look, they're just funneling in.
Yeah, the shuttle and the Reaver behind this. He's going to have to drop and try to get these Reavers to do anything. Have they fired a Scarab yet? Oh my god, he's going to lose one of the Reavers almost just immediately. The shuttle is out of there, and so are both of those Reavers. Excellent targeting here by Arew. These Dragoons are so helpless trying to glitch around and try to come up this ramp, and eventually Arew will bust out of here, and I think he's got to go because there's an extra Nexus for GosuDark behind this with 2 Reavers.
Yeah, well, look at the supply. It's now in favor of Arew. He has so many Dragoons.
Wow.
Like, GosuDark, he's been building probes, so there's a big discrepancy in the probe count, but because of that, supplies for Arew up by 8, but you also factor in the probes, he's probably up by maybe like 15 or 16. But the one thing that GosuDark does have is he has Reavers. Arew has only Goons. He's going for a Nexus. I don't know if this is really going to work out for him. It's just so late. There's also... Is there a shuttle for GosuDark? Okay, it's just barely going to come out when this attack
Well, yeah, he'll have it in time.
But yeah, Arew, he's got to make something happen here, because if he waits any longer, it's just going to be too much for GosuDark. He's going in right now. The Reavers, they got to...
He's going to have to get back there and try to target those Reavers, but he actually... he's trying. Oh, no. I don't think it's going to be enough, Nyoken. He gets one of the Reavers, but can he get the second one? There's a shuttle out, so he's going to disjoint a few of the shots. Shuttle goes down. The Reaver goes down inside of it.
Yeah, and now Arew has an overwhelming amount of Dragoons. There's only 3 left for GosuDark. We have 8 Dragoons for Arew. Is Arew gonna take it back?
What is this game? None of the laws of like physics or science or space or time apply to this game, Nyoken. Somehow Arew on one base is gonna walk across the map, and I think he has everything he needs here. Oh, he has 2 idle full health Dragoons behind this. That's not great. But he's gonna kill so many probes here, and he was actually surprisingly ahead on workers.
He's ahead on workers?
Yeah,
what?
Arew is.
Okay, well, I don't know what happened there, but GosuDark desperately trying to hold on. A Reaver has popped out, but now Arew has high ground advantage. It's going to be hard for the Reaver and the Dragoons to just get up here. Meanwhile, Arew just streaming across the map. Now he's got his Nexus up. GosuDark's not really even mining at his natural. So Arew's in a phenomenal position.
Yeah, how did Arew do this? He stayed on one base, now has more than the player that was on 2 base. Like, he wasn't able to kill the Nexus there thanks to the defensive Reaver, but he's just got a great economy behind this. So he's got a bigger army, more supply. Like, there's really not too many bad things you can say about Arew's position.
Yeah, the one thing that GosuDark does have going for him is he's got a higher gateway count, so he can build up his army much quicker. We see him building Zealots, and the fact that he's building these makes me think that we're going to be going for a big attack pretty soon. Oh, a pretty decent Reaver hit right there. Arew's army is only Dragoons at this point. I thought I saw a Reaver somewhere. Oh, there is a Reaver going to the main for a drop.
Oh, no. Let's see. There is a scouting probe that's going to see that, and there's one Dragoon in the main. But I think this shuttle should be able to just fly right into the mineral line.
Yeah, here is that Reaver. Now, the lacking probes for GosuDark is gonna help here. Only losing 4 probes so far, not a huge loss for him.
Yeah. Yeah, neither player really able to commit to something like shuttle speed yet, so we don't have any of those upgrades coming through, because it has actually just been who can make more Dragoons. And actually now GosuDark trying to run out here inside the shuttle. He might be able to. The shuttle can't run away fast enough. Oh, the Dragoons cancel their shots, but he's still going to get it.
Wow, that's a big pickoff for GosuDark. He's got a 2 Reaver advantage now. And if he decides to go, I'm looking at Arew's army. It's 11 Dragoons, 12 Dragoons, but Zealots are so good, they'll be able to soak up a lot of hits from the Dragoons are just flat out not going to die, which will allow time for these Reavers to get devastating hits. And GosuDark, I think he's going to push here. Yeah, he's decided that he's going to put on the pressure. Oh, no, maybe not.
Are we just going to reset into like a normal game? This is so weird to watch.
Yeah, we potentially are going to reset, but maybe not. GosuDark is moving across the map. He doesn't know that there's a Nexus up for Arew. He can probably assume at this point, but he definitely doesn't know that Arew has this many Dragoons. Arew really on top of his macro, up in supply 86 to 75. There is one Reaver finally out for Arew.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to this shuttle, because Reaver with a shuttle is so vastly superior to Reavers without shuttles. It's just not even fair. You just pick up and the Scarab doesn't hit. So GosuDark should have the ability to push in here with a Reaver that his opponent will not have. So let's keep an eye on this. GosuDark playing very aggressively, has one more Reaver.
Yeah, he has one more Reaver. Here comes the big battle. They're trying to focus that Reaver down, but Arew losing a lot of units here. Not really much going down for GosuDark. Arew's turning around. He has so many Dragoons though. I feel like he can win this fight.
Oh, Reaver gonna get popped there before the Scarab can come out, so it's 2 Reavers to 1 fresh Reaver just now coming up from behind. We'll see how good these Scarabs are. Holy cow, Arew's Scarabs are godlike. What on earth am I watching? GG Arew crushing it. Taking out the army that was coming to his doorstep, taking out GosuDark in game number 2.
Yeah, Arew, I don't know how he turned that game around. He was in a terrible position. GosuDark, it doesn't get any better than that. But the Dragoon count for Arew, it was so big. I don't even know how he got it so high. And then
he was on 1 base.
Yeah,
like, if you can do that on 1 base, why are Protoss players expanding, Nyokin? Like, why would you do that? Yeah. You're wasting your money on stuff that doesn't build Dragoons.
Exactly. Just get that Dragoon count.
Wow. Well, Arew, you know, there's a lot of these like rules about how you have to play the game, like ZVZ, right? You gotta get Zerglings. You kind of gotta get Mutas after that, and like maybe you can fudge it a little bit here and there, but like for PvP, like more just beats less. And I feel like several times there, Arew didn't have as much. Like he was on the low ground trying to bust up to high ground with basically equal numbers of Dragoons, and he does it. And I'm just like, wait, what? That's not how that works. And then he held that last battle with 2 shuttleless Reavers versus 2 Reavers in shuttles. I'm just like, wait, okay. But wow, Arew really kind of showing his pedigree and taking game number 2 to, I guess, take us all the way.
Yes, so again, we're going to be into Sylphid as our last map. Haven't seen Protoss vs. Protoss on here that often, so not sure really what to expect. Again, GosuDark pretty aggressive since there are no ramps this time. I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to see another 2-gate like what we saw in Circuit Breaker.
Yeah, you could be absolutely right. I think so let's see, we had 2-gate into 3-gate versus DT Tech on game 1, and then game 2 it was actually pretty mirrored builds for the most part. The difference being the faster 3-gates for GosuDark that gave him that high ground advantage. But I guess that's not everything. So Arew, yeah, I think we're starting to solidify kind of what kind of players both of these guys are. Like GosuDark is clearly going to be playing much more aggressively, and I think Arew trying to sort of wax on and wax off those different attacks wherever they come from. Did a great job kind of biding his time as long as he needed. So, wow, I don't know. I can't wait to see what happens here in game 3.
Yep.
So I think we're going to get into it.
3. Yeah.
Yeah, I think. There we go. All right. We're getting into Sylphid. It's our last map of the night.
Did that quickly just for you.
Wow, I could tell. That was like the nanoseconds are not unnoticed here. Nyokin. So, all right. Well, this is our, like I said, our last map of this series. It's game 3 between our brown Protoss player in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. This guy is playing very aggressively. We'll see if he can close it out here in game 3. It's GosuDark.
And in the bottom right, we've got another strong Protoss player. It is Arew. So, what will these players pull out? GosuDark, I feel like, has had a advantage in the early game. Every single time a Circuit Breaker, he responded well to the DT, just barely breaking through. He had the overwhelming amount initially versus Arew, but Arew pulling it back. So I don't think that he should stray away from what's been working out for him. I really do. I really do think that this is most likely going to be a 2-gate.
Yeah, I wouldn't be expecting anything different. The only thing that you could do differently is maybe try to go proxy something. I think that's kind of the real thing that we haven't seen yet. And you got to bring that out at some point in your strategies, because if you never do it, then players just have to breathe that sigh of relief. When I was going through the ASL qualifiers, just seeing kind of what was going on, you would not believe the number of proxies I had. There was a best of one lower bracket, and there was just so many proxies. It's just an unbelievable amount. And so every time I see just game after game after game, and nobody tries that, like, it is actually really good to mix in there. But my wishful thinking is falling on deaf ears here in Ioka, and we are just going to see that 2-gate from Arew this time into GosuDark, who's only got one.
Yeah, and I think Arew was thinking probably along the same lines as me, where it's probably likely that versus aggressive player, they're going to go 2-gate, so you're going to need 2-gate yourself. That's not what GosuDark is doing here. It's just 1-gate gas. And what you're saying about proxies, so I have the VPN on the ladder to get Korean players. I can tell you the one thing I noticed between foreigners and Korean ladder is that I get proxied a lot. Non-stop proxy. So, yeah, it's definitely a big thing over in Korea. But what is GosuDark going to do here? He smartly is building Zealots this time. If we remember back on In the Way of an Eddy, he went straight to the Cybernetics and Dragoon. But this time he is building a defensive Zealot, and that's going to be the right move. Wow, his scout even gets into Arew's base. So he's going to see exactly what's going on.
You can block that one egg gap with a Zealot, right? Or is the probe too small? I don't know. Maybe the Zealot was just like a pixel out of position. But either way, both players get their scouts in and are going to see everything. And this might be a little bit of a rough moment, because it's going to be 2-gate versus just one with those 3 Zealots headed out across the map.
Yeah, this build from Arew is identical to his Circuit Breaker build. He went 3 Zealots with the Cybernetics, and he's pushing out with the 3rd right now. But GosuDark already has 2 Zealots out. He's going to have a 3rd pretty soon. It's going to be in time. And what is his follow-up going to be? There's that probe we were talking about in combination with the Zealot. Going to help deal some damage from the back. But GosuDark, we don't see a 2nd gate. I'm getting a little worried that we're lacking on production. But because of this, I think this is most likely going to be a robotics coming in from him.
I mean, you're gonna have to throw that down pretty soon, right? Let's see. So it finishes up, and yeah, I don't see the robotics just yet, but gonna at least have to start that singularity charge. So that's Arew heading back home. He's like, sick man, I 2-gated into the retreat, so he's gonna head back, and now we get a chance to see what's coming next here. It's DT Tech again from Arew.
Yeah, Arew has his probe alive in GosuDark's base. It finally gets taken down. Wow.
Whoa!
GosuDark delaying the Citadel all the way until the probe dies. So both players going for very delayed DTs. Now, Arew is not going to suspect this at all. To him, this definitely looks like a robotics build. But GosuDark may suspect that it could possibly be a DT. And because of this, I like his position a little more, because if he suspects it, maybe he'll get a faster Forge or a faster robotics instead of Arew.
Well, we'll see. I mean, that's it. That's the only thing that matters right now. Actually, I guess you can block with a hold position DT at your door, if you can't get the robotics out in time. But I still don't know exactly how many pixels. We'd have to call our tight wall pixel master Gypsy out here to tell us if you can block that with one hold position unit. But either way, the DTs are gonna be kind of the deciding factor here. If the game just doesn't end because of more versus less, there's let's see, 4 Zealots versus 3, and yeah, I think that should mean that Arew can hold this pretty easily.
Yeah, so GosuDark trying to put on some pressure, but it's definitely not going to work. Arew gonna be able to defend. Oh, but can either player figure out that they're going for DTs? Now, this is what I was saying. Look at GosuDark's base. He may suspect DT, and because of that, his Forge is already done. Oh, wow, Arew's Forge is already done, too. And he suspected. There's the cannon. I'm surprised that he suspects that this is a DT build.
Yeah, don't cheese a cheeser. Both players really kind of reading each other pretty perfectly at this point. Defense is pretty good, but I think GosuDark might have the slight edge with that extra Dragoon, but, DTs are out, so there's only so much you can do here. And you should hear the sound of those swipes and head back here pretty soon. Yeah, there he goes.
Yes, so GosuDark can confirm the DTs, But he's already set up. He even has a cannon going up in his main in case those DTs run by. I don't think they're going to be able to run by, but I do like GosuDark's position a little bit better than Arew's. He's already got cannon set up at his natural. Meanwhile, here come those DTs from GosuDark. Look at the pylon at the nat for Arew. It's not up. That means that Arew's not going to be able to get an expansion, whereas GosuDark is.
Oh, he's gonna run by the cannons. No way, no way, no way. All right, well, there's only a couple of cannons here. The DT gets him. No, it goes down. Oh my God, that was so close. Wow.
Yeah, so the DT does not get in. The natural is not going to get up for Arew. And we're going to have a similar scenario to the last game where GosuDark is just going to have flat out more econ than Arew.
Okay, well, we know that this means Arew's in the advantage, right, Nyokin?
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to be able to do exactly what he had to do in that last game, but, you know, it's a little bit different. It's not just a bunch of Dragoons outside on the high ground. This time it's DTs kind of wandering everywhere. So obviously he's going to have to get obs out. That's going to take him a lot longer. That means he's going to be behind in economy, but somehow he was strangely not behind in economy in that last game, because as soon as he got a Nexus up, he had more workers. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess that's what you got to do.
Now, Arew has snuck a probe to top left. What could this possibly mean? We already see 3 gates in his main. I don't think this is a scouting pylon. This really does look like some sort of hidden proxy. This could be a hidden Nexus. But GosuDark is already scouting for something like that. He's scouting the other main. This is very smart from him.
Yeah, but he missed it.
Yeah, he missed it, but he's going to be moving across the map, I suspect, to all the bases. There he goes. He's heading back to the left. He may scout top left.
Well, I guess neither player has any detection or mobile detection, right? So even though there's a ton of Dragoons right here, the DTs should just walk up and kill these Dragoons, right? As long as he maintains that wall.
Yeah, this is so weird that he's just not moving the DTs, but he's not. And look at GosuDark. This brown DT is going to move to top left, and it's going to find this probe. And Arew's floating 400 minerals. This looks like it could have been a Nexus. No, is it not?
Oh, no, he didn't scout it! This is so crazy. Watch him build this Nexus right here.
Oh, my God. GosuDark,
in your face!
He just waited for it to complete. Please, GosuDark, go up there. Oh.
No way he goes and checks that right now. No way.
Is he gonna go?
This is so crazy.
Remember SPX versus JU, and SPX never found the base that GosuDark just scouted. No, he's going by it.
Stop it, Arew, you bad man. Somebody stop this man. What a god. Okay, I guess he gets a secret base up. There's gonna be cannons up to hold against DTs.
Yeah, meanwhile,
Shuttle dropping off DTs in the main, but there's a cannon there.
A cannon already set up for GosuDark, so GosuDark is just set up all over the place.
No, there's no detection powering the pylon, or yeah, there's no cannon by the gateways, so he could actually just go kill those. He's got to start another cannon to try to defend the gates.
Well, the Observer's going to pop out pretty soon, so this is going to get shut down. But meanwhile, Arew does have that Nexus almost done. And if it can go unscouted and GosuDark plays passively, which I find highly unlikely, Arew is setting up like he's going to build another Nexus at his natural. I am worried that if he double expands, GosuDark will just run him over.
So I think he's going to try to posture like he does have a Nexus. He's building a ton of cannons here. So, I mean, if he does get the Nexus, maybe that'll cause GosuDark to try to overcommit to killing it because he thinks he has more. But then if he doesn't have more because their economies will eventually just be equal. The only problem that I see is that obviously there's a ton of probes mining at the natural, and Arew can't take probes to his proxy base.
Oh, a DT drop into GosuDark's base. Cannon Dragoon will clean it up.
Whoa! Oh my god, that thing lives at 6 HP.
It has barely survived, but GosuDark's going in now. I don't think there's enough for GosuDark to bust through. There's a lot for Arew. And he is doing exactly what you said, acting like he's expanding. Oh, is this going to be like...
Can Arew snipe this Observer? As long as he snipes the Observer, he can hold on, but he's not hunting with his own Observer. I think he actually might have lost it. Oh, no, it's still right there. Oh, now he's going to lose it. So that means that he can't go Observer hunting, and he's going to lose his national. So actually right now, GosuDark thinks he's in a crazy good spot, but he doesn't know about the hidden base.
Yeah, GosuDark doesn't know about the hidden base, but now Arew... Like, he can't transfer probes. So it's going to take
Yeah.
him a long time to slowly get this other base
Ooh.
running. Meanwhile,
Actually,
GosuDark,
so Arew was trying to transfer probes in a shuttle, but the shuttle got picked off on its way up north. So that
oh
was a
my,
bunch of probes and the shuttle getting taken out.
oh my gosh. So really, Arew, look at his saturation at his main. He has so many probes. He really wishes he could have gotten them out to top middle, but he can't. And GosuDark, just like last game with Arew having so many Dragoons, GosuDark has so many Dragoons. And this time, he's got the econ now. GosuDark does. He's got 6 gate. He can just pump Dragoons like crazy.
Wow. Wait, is Arew gonna expand again? No way. He wouldn't. He
I,
wouldn't.
I don't think he can do this.
He's saving. Okay, I thought he was saving like he's saving 400 minerals there for a while, but
I
dude,
think
if he
he really.
tries to,
No, I can't. He can't do this. I think he really does need to act like he's trying to get his natural. Because if you just sit in your base, it's gonna be like alarm bells going off like crazy for
oh
GosuDark that there's
yeah,
hidden bases. So
it
I
has to
really,
be.
I mean, they're probably already going off, but I really feel like he's got to at least try to make it look like he's taking his natural.
So this is like one of those classic mistakes that you make if you're like a brand new StarCraft player. Is you're like you got this guy contained, and you're like, well, I just sit here because like you don't have APM, you don't have mechanics, you don't have like a build order or a strategy. You're just like, well, I contain him, like he can't do anything. But the biggest mistake is to just sit there because inevitably, yeah, he's gonna get a base somewhere else, and you're gonna lose the game. And that happened to me a lot when I was when my friend first brought over the CD to my house, and I was like, well, this is that happening on a pro level here. Because GosuDark's not scouting for. Okay, he's finally gonna find that with the obs. But look at how many cannons there are. There's like 5 high ground cannons at the front.
Yeah, so it's going to be difficult for a GosuDark to break this, but GosuDark has a shuttle full of 4 DTs. He's probably going to wait for Arew to make movement outside of his base, and as soon as he does, going to go in and probably just kill everything with these DTs.
So a nice hold there at that proxy base. There's more zealots headed over there, but I think he can just spam cannons to hold that one up, and eventually he will have a bunch of probes up there. So what is the next step for GosuDark? He's got that shuttle waiting with those DTs, but he's not using it just yet.
Yeah, he's just waiting for Arew to make a move, and there is the move from Arew. An instant reaction with the shuttle. Here it comes. Look at the main of Arew. There's no cannons there. Even the
Oh,
robotics
God.
is exposed. If the robotics goes down, we have 1 observer.
Yeah. Well, this could just be it. Nyokin, I don't know if there's really going to be a way to come back from this. He's going to try to get his probes out of the main, but there's 4 DTs in your base.
Well, Arew responded immediately. The observer is here. There's a lot of Dragoons. These are expensive DTs. Meanwhile, GosuDark back at the natural, containing Arew again.
Well, I mean, eventually the DTs actually do get pushed back. One saved inside that shuttle. Another wave of zealots is defended at that proxy base, but we're still going to need to see more cannons be built to hold that off, because now there's even more zealots, 6 more headed up there, and he's not building enough cannons to hold off 6 zealots. So eventually that proxy base is going to go down, and the DT will come back into the into Arew's main. I think we're just watching him being bludgeoned to death here.
Yeah, GosuDark just barely has too many units here. All the cannons are going to go down. Probes are now going to die. And Arew's trying to take top right, but that's probably going to get scouted pretty soon. But look at the amount of units Arew has. He's trying to bust out now. This is really his only hope. He's got to bust out, but he's getting clumped up again.
He's got big storms here possible. I think he has maybe 1 more if he wants to try to push out. Not the greatest storms, but I mean, they are softening up these Dragoons. So if Arew can actually ferry these probes over and maybe body block the retreat.
Another
Hello?
DT drop.
Oh man, this one's going unscouted. Okay, well, this might just be it.
Yeah, essentially Arew's not mining now. He's just did a full probe pull. He lost top left. He doesn't have any mining at top right. It looks like GosuDark has done it. GosuDark really just keeping the pressure up all over the place. And now Arew again, contained back into his main. And look at the army for GosuDark back at GosuDark's natural. We've got a lot of zealots. He's got Templars of his own. He's got an Archon that's just going to melt zealots. Well,
it appears as if this is kind of the beginning of the end here. GosuDark really doing a great job. This was a weird game. There's proxy bases. There was like DT versus DT, which always gets crazy. I thought that Arew had kind of stabilized there for a second, but it looks like GosuDark does finally have a really critical advantage right now. He's not quite doubling in supply, and there is still that proxy base, or the hidden base by Arew. But there's just such a huge army here for GosuDark. I think he's about to drop the hammer.
Yeah, GosuDark coming in here now. The supplies are heavily in favor of him at this point. Good storm by Arew, but is it enough? Oh, I don't know. It's taking a lot of tons of damage on top of all the zealots.
Yeah, those are actually gigantic storms, but I think there is just too much. No way he makes it through these double Archons. They're going to chew through the Zealots at the front, and I think that is just about to going to be it there. Yeah, GG, Arew taps out, and that's going to be a 2-1 victory for our new Peruvian Bisu GosuDark, taking out Arew here to claim his first win in BSL Season 6.
Yeah, nicely done from GosuDark. He played to his strengths every single game. He was aggressive in the early game. He got a lead every single game. I can't fault him for playing that style. And unfortunately, Arew, he just couldn't match the aggression from GosuDark.
Yeah, it was really cool to see, even though PvP is kind of a much maligned matchup because a lot of people, don't really appreciate the subtle nuances. We did see quite a few different styles here today, and I think, really got a chance to get to know some of our newer players, guys like GosuDark. Haven't really seen him play for a very, 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 very long time. He's coming back in a strong way with a win here today. And if you missed our first series between Jaeyoon and SPX, that was actually a really cool way to see the styles change up. SPX really staying true to his high pressure style. We had some sick battle cruiser plays there, so if you didn't catch those games, make sure to go back and watch them as well. But hey, what a way to kick things off. A big thanks to all 306 people who are watching the new start to BSL Season 6 right now. And of course, a huge thanks to Zero behind the scenes, and of course to Yunaioken for coming back and co-casting here today.
Yeah, well, thank you, of course. Always enjoy casting with you. But I'm looking forward to our winners match. I think a lot of people would have not suspected these two players to be in the winners. A lot of people were saying Jaeyoon was a big favorite with them. It was originally an all Protoss group, and then I think Arew was kind of a favorite Protoss. So I'm kind of shocked at this result, but I'm also not that shocked because all the players are very close in skill. And I think it really just comes down to who's playing the best today. And clearly it's GosuDark and SPX playing the best today.
Yeah. So it looks like we're actually going to have the losers match first because the winners match is actually still going on. And to avoid lagging the players, we are doing this from like almost live, but just from the most recent replay. So we are going to head out to a quick break, and then we'll come back with the losers match coming up next in our BSL Season 6 Group A. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back with our losers match coming up.